Hello and welcome back to my channel. Today is another solo caregiving day where I'm having a lot of fun. It was last night, it was Sunday. It was interesting day. My dad fell again and he really scraped his head up really bad. The skin pulled back and all that. Out of the blue, unexpected. And that's what happens when you're dealing with elderly people who have Alzheimer's or dementia. My dad has both, vascular dementia and Alzheimer's. And it was just one of those days. Wasn't expected. Normal Sunday things went on. I let him sleep in today, which was probably a mistake on my part, because I had things to do. I got him up for his medication in the morning, and some Boost, protein or nutritional drink. But I let him sleep in because I had to do other chores around the house late in the day. So about 5 o'clock in the afternoon, and I had been trying to get him up, telling him it's time to get up for hours. But I finally said, that's it, you got to get up. And I got him up, and I took him into the kitchen, and from this point, he took his medications, some water, and then he has a rolling walker, and he's using that rolling walker, and he's comes out here and goes around here, puts his walker right here, and right before he gets to his chair, he falls straight down and slams his head or scrapes his head against the door. And you can see some of that residue still on the door from the blood. It's a little bit of blood down there I cleaned up. But that's all it took. I turned back when we were in the kitchen. I was about to, I turned right here to make him coffee, and within 20 seconds, he was on the floor with a head scrape, deep scrape. And 20 seconds, that's all it took. And there was nothing he was doing in his walking that suggested that he was unstable. But maybe he had been in bed too long. Maybe he hadn't had enough water for the day, or maybe he hadn't had enough food. Hard to tell some days. But I think with elderly people, we just have to get them up all the time, on time, on a schedule, even when that's sometimes impossible. So I got him ready, and I thought about it. Checked him, made sure, he didn't slam his head into the door, but it's just got it just right where it scraped it, and rather than a full impact. But he did hit the floor pretty hard, because I heard it in the kitchen. And came out, and there he was. I had to get him off the floor, but I was certain that if I could get him to stand up enough, that I knew I could take him to the hospital myself, rather than calling EMS and an ambulance to take him, because they'd have to take him, and I'd have to follow. But I was able to bring him out to the car, the wheelchair, put a towel on his head, and get him going. We were in the car, and he had a little towel on his head, and got him the 12 miles, or almost 20 minutes drive to the VA emergency room at the hospital. And they got him in there almost immediately. And got him back pretty quick. And wasn't great. They dealt with it. They cleaned it up, the wound up, and they had x-rays. But we were still there for many hours. And I warn you, I'm about to show a picture you might not want to see. It was a pretty good scrape. It pulled the skin back. It just, thin skin, it just pulled it back. And they had to put the skin back in place, and they really couldn't sew it, put stitches in it. They basically had to cover it up, clean it up, cover it up with very thin membrane strips, and then cover it with gauze and cover it with another thing and tape it up. And we had to wait for the x-rays and wait for the doctor to assess the x-rays, and they finally let us come home. But that is not easy to see, and it was really bad when it was unclean before they cleaned it. It was pretty bad. So after hours and hours at the emergency room, sitting there with him. By the way, it was Sunday, so the cafeteria was closed. They don't have any coffee machines, even the ones you'd go up and, like a vending machine. They didn't have those. They only had Cokes and those kind of things. So I was without coffee most of the time, which was hard on me. So was my Sunday. And I was, got my dad up because, he got to get up, but also to eat dinner. And I was just about to have dinner with him. I haven't eaten all day, and I was hungry. And that's when this happened, and we had to go through all that. So I got him home, finally. Came back into the house, got the wheelchair, went back to the car, got him in the house, got him in his chair, got him some food, and he stayed up for a few hours and then went to bed. And I've been checking on him on and off all night, all the AM, because I have to be sure that covering doesn't come off, the bandages don't come off, and that he doesn't have any complications like a temperature or bleeding or swelling or other things. So I got to keep a close eye on him, and that's exhausted me. Next, I'm going to have to but now it's a little after 5 o'clock in the morning, and I'm going to have to get the pills situated for the week. And then get my dad up and give him his medications for the day, for the morning, and get him some boost or something to go with that, and check him, make sure the thing didn't come off. I have to check his adult pull-ups, diapers, to make sure they don't need to be changed yet, and empty his catheter bag, catheter collection bag. Check it for blood, because he did fall and hit that floor pretty hard, and in the x-rays will show damages or cracks or something to the bones, but they're not going to show if he had any other trauma, internal soft tissue trauma. So that's going to be my Monday so far. Then I have to call his primary care doctor, set up an appointment, get them in there, because I want to leave that bandage on his head for 4 days, but I don't think it's going to last for 4 days, especially when you're dealing with Alzheimer's and dementia patients. They might not remember that they fell. They might say, "What is that?" Start pulling it off. So that's part of the caregiver life, and it's very hard on solo caregivers because we're doing it all by ourselves. And that we don't have a partner helping us where we can change shifts. We don't have a family or friends that come around to help us or will be there. When you go through this journey as a caregiver, family caregiver, you find a lot of people disappear along the journey, along the road. They just stop coming over, they stop helping, they just disappear. Or they die, or have other issues, or move, or so especially when you're older, you find people going away in your life. And then you end up like with me and my dad, just me and my dad. And today's the anniversary, 1-year anniversary of my eldest sister dying. She died last year in a nursing home, renal failure. And this is what I have to deal with today. On top of that memory and the feeling of loss that I have, and her sons, who I rarely hear from them today, they're going to be contacting me about that and crying in their beer or something. And I just don't have the time for it. And I'm exhausted, and that's just another part of the caregiver life, the family caregiver life. It is never easy. We have good days, we have good weeks, we have good months even, and then all it takes is one day to destroy it all and ruin us physically. So that's just what today is. I hope yours is better. Take care, and I'll talk to you another time.